Mandel, or was it another? How did you come to meet him? I guess.
Yeah, I actually met him somewhat by accident. I mean, I went to Yemen not by accident. I went to Yemen because I wanted to make a film about Guantanamo, and there were a lot of Yemenis at Guantanamo. There still are a lot of Yemenis at Guantanamo, and I was looking for a story of returnees, so somebody gets released to go home. And that was the sort of, I thought, okay, I want to understand that story. And then I got to Yemen, and we were working. I was with a lawyer who represented several detainees, and we were asked, do you want to meet Salam Hamdan's family? And of course, I knew Salam Hamdan was, at that point, one of the most well-known Guantanamo prisoners, along with Omar Khadr. And I said, of course, I wanted to meet him, and then this is what I was introduced to. And so, it was pretty instantly fascinating. And this guy who was Bin Laden's bodyguard, who drives a taxi cab in Yemen, I mean, just sort of the levels of, questions that raises. Why is he free and Hamdan's in Guantanamo? He was the one who recruited him. And then it was after that I'd read, Lawrence Wright has an amazing book called The Looming Tower, which deals with Al-Qaeda and ideology, and he talks about this interrogation in Ali Soufan. So I had read that story, but I didn't put it together until I got back home. I was like, oh, okay, on top of the fact that he was Bin Laden's bodyguard and recruited Hamdan, he was also interrogated in Western Union.
Was it difficult to get him to agree to tell a story?
As you can see, as we try to show in the film, he's not shy about talking to the media. So that's part of the story. And so it's like, but we needed something different and deeper. And so it wasn't, and I think that the thing that helped the most is I showed this film Made in Iraq. And so, having spent time there and filming that, so I think that kind of allowed me to get the sort of more different kind of access. But for instance, from the first time I met him, I said, can I put a camera in your car, a taxi cab, because I knew that this was just, going to be an amazing sort of way to supposed to explore him psychologically and how he interacts and sort of this spiraling through one. I asked him the first time I met him, so how about next week? And it took probably about a year before I actually had a camera.
A story like this can be told obviously in a number of different ways. It doesn't have a point of view. As I said, I see it as being something that's very sort of more cinema and ambiguities. Was that something that was difficult for you to make, or you eschew any? You don't explain too much to us, and we have to work our way around it. Tell us a little bit about your filmmaking style and approach.
I think that is actually a point of view. What we want to do is present somebody who is complex and contradictory, and let you guys kind of figure out, some things about it. But we did make some very, very conscious decisions. And Jonathan Robinson, the editor, we wanted it to be sort of a psychological mystery. Like we always felt there was a secret there, and that we wanted to slowly, his backstory, slowly unravel. So to sort of enter into the present tense, which is I typically do, verite drama unfolding, and that, and then we slowly reveal his backstory, and that was always his thread. And then with Hamdan, we really were interested in this idea of a ghost, like somebody who's missing and whose absence is evoked. And so that, and that's just hard. Guantanamo is still, there are people there who've been there since 2002. And so how do you deal with this material that kind of goes at a more emotional level than just the information? Because we all know that people are being out there, but there's not sort of an emotional thread. So it was actually a very constructive sort of narrative. So in a sense, he was always sort of understood as a ghost, and then I would really wanted to slowly reveal his story, because he doesn't tell you, don't know it all. He's not going to, there's certain things that he doesn't reveal to us, so we wanted to construct that.
Has Hamdan seen the film, do you know?
I don't think so.
John Doe's reaction?
I heard contradictory responses. First I was hearing some very troubling, he was upset, and then I think it was before he'd seen it, and then he saw it, and then he seemed to be okay with it.
Well, I'm happy